Good evening. On the big match tonight, 3 of the top games of the day. And for our first match, we go to the Dell to see if Southampton have recovered from that nightmare of Watford. They now face Brighton. From London, Spurs against Manchester United at White Hart Lane. And it's here that Osvaldo Ardiles reveals to us tonight that he's now poised to sign a new 3-year contract with Tottenham. And finally, brilliant action as Manchester City face Arsenal. And that was a game, I should tell you, that had the crowd on their feet at the end, applauding the players. But elsewhere, the news has not been so good today. Jim Rosenthal.
Yes, a really sad night for football. Sheffield Wednesday fans riot at Oldham. That match held up for half an hour. Jack Charlton, the Sheffield Wednesday manager, leaves the field in tears. Trouble on the field as well. 5 players are sent off. Leeds are beaten again, and manager Jimmy Adamson faces an emergency board meeting in the morning.
So on with the action now, and we start today at Southampton. People are still talking about that amazing 7-1 defeat that Southampton suffered in the League Cup at Watford in midweek. So I think it was a good day to check up on Laurie McMenamin's men to see what the reaction was there. Southampton against Brighton is the match then, the game covered by Southern Television, and the commentator is David Bobin.
7 days ago, both Brighton and Southampton were able to field established teams after making impressive starts to the season. But after an eventful week, both sides are forced to make changes. Southampton, still reeling from Tuesday's shambles at Watford, are once again without Kevin Keegan, still out with hamstring trouble, and also missing is Charlie George. But Dave Watson is fit and he plays after being doubtful earlier. And George's absence means the first match of the new campaign for Phil Boyer, who was last season's top scorer, and he's only just got over an Achilles tendon injury. But whether or not they can put that miserable night behind them remains to be seen. Certainly Southampton's only consolation is that Brighton are now without Mark Lawrenson and Brian Horton at the heart of their defence. Lawrenson automatically misses this derby match after being sent off in the 4-2 win at Tranmere, and Horton has knee ligament trouble. Young Gary Stevens steps into the side for his first match in the first team this season, and Jerry Ryan fills the other gap in a reshuffled Brighton lineup. Match referee this afternoon, Alex Hamill from Wolverhampton, and away we go in the South Coast derby, and both teams for this match, of course, in their new strip they're playing in this season. As we look at it, Southampton attacking the goal on the left, wearing their now distinctive red and white but slightly different style from last season, and Brighton in new royal blue shirts and white shorts, attacking, of course, the goal on the right. Early action for Phil Boyer on his return to the first team, and it's Nick Holmes to take the throw for Southampton in the first of many raids. Hefty boot from Steve Foster, conceding the first corner of the afternoon. And straight away, Southampton pushing the big man forward. Nicol and Watson coming up to the edge of the area, and even Steve Williams joining the attack. Corner coming over from Baker. Safely gathered by Graham Mosley, but the referee had seen a push on Mosley. Something of a test of character, I think, this for Southampton. After all, they do have to try and erase the memory of that 7-1 defeat at Watford on Tuesday night, and that's really going to take some doing against a tough, determined Brighton lineup. Should be Watson's, and it is, and Golak again in lots of room on that right-hand side. Boyer has timed his run well just behind the defence. Well, the crowd on that far side seemed to think that Foster had certainly brought Heber down unfairly in the area. The referee didn't agree. For the moment, though, it's Williams, and Williams on the ball again. And Mosley doing well, but Williams is in there. A great start by Southampton. That's the sort of start they wanted. And really, I suppose we have to put it down to goalkeeping error again by Graham Mosley. Stevie Williams' first goal of this new season. Here we get a chance to see it again. It all started through Williams. He comes in to take the shot on the edge of the area, hits the shot. Mosley can only palm it down, and Williams, quick as a flash, buries it inside that far post. Southampton 1, Brighton 0. 4 minutes of the match gone, and just the sort of start that Southampton needed. That'll help to erase something of the nightmare from Tuesday night. Just the sort of start, of course, that Laurie McMenemy would have wanted. And one wonders whether or not Brighton are having visions of a repeat of last year's scoreline, when, of course, they were beaten 5-1 here. This is Boyer. Golak is on the right in plenty of room. Holmes looking to bring it back into play on this near side, and that's too close to the keeper. Now it's Williams to Ward. Ward hustled from behind by Ivan Golak. And this is Steve Williams for Southampton, looking, I think, to score one of the most spectacular goals that ever would have been scored here if that had gone in. Graham Mosley was watching it all the way, and in the end it was well wide. The ball very nearly coming up onto our commentary gantry, but in the end it goes to a throw to Brighton. Ward and Nicol together, Baker and Golak. Steve Williams seems to have found plenty of room all afternoon, and once again he's in acres of space. Golak too has not got too many men close to him. Holmes with a little chip across, and again nobody on that far post. That's twice now we've seen chances possibly gone begging. Shannon. Well, my goodness, they don't come much closer than that without going in. The shot from Mickey Shannon only just going wide. I think he's thinking there how close that was, and certainly Mosley knew it was pretty close. Chance again to see it, and here's the shot coming in from Shannon in just a second. He does well to sidestep the challenge. Right foot shot, skids across, just past that far post, and Mosley was stranded. Gregory with the throw. And Hebbard nips in between the two Brighton players and claims that for himself. Lots of warm afternoon sunshine here at the Dell, bathing that far side of the pitch. As another Southampton attack builds up through Graham Baker. Switching it to Shannon. Glanced in by Graham Baker. Second goal of the afternoon for Southampton, and that really was a lovely goal, beautifully executed. It all started through that run from Mickey Shannon, who once again proved so dangerous. This time it was a left foot cross, and just watch Baker coming in on that near post, stealing in to put the header well past Mosley, and that's 2-0. Foster's head it was, back to Williams. Foster with a chance to redeem it. Gordon Smith and Chris Nicol making the run with him, looking to check and turn him, and Nicol doing well. Good round of applause for a nice skill from Chris Nicol. Williams finding Peter Ward, who really hasn't shown anything like his old sparkle this afternoon. Peter Ward on the seat of his pants, just getting up there at the moment, but really haven't seen an awful lot of him. And when we have, he doesn't look to have that little bit of extra sparkle that we saw so often last season. Referee pushing the wall back. It's Williams with the kick. Robinson stealing in. Well, that was a nicely worked free kick by Brighton, and I think Robinson really caught them all by surprise. The little lob. And Mick Robinson stealing in and just lobbing the header almost, and Wells just happy to touch it over the bar to concede the corner. Here's a chance to see it again. Robinson there, you can see him climbing above the defence, and a high looping header, and Wells just palming it over the bar. Smith not really getting any distance on that back flick, the header. And it's a free kick anyway to Southampton. Going between Hibbert and Shannon, and it runs very kindly for McHale. To Smith, Ward, good firm tackle from Dave Watson. McHale again for Brighton though, finding Jerry Ryan wide on that left-hand side. Nice bit of skill from him. Jerry Ryan in the box now. If he can pull it back, there's problems. Well, Jerry Ryan, that was a nice run from him. That's a good bit of play by Jerry Ryan. He did well to pull the ball back. If somebody had been steaming in there, that could have been the first goal of the afternoon for Brighton. But as it is, it's another corner. Their third corner of this match. And they're pushing most people forward once again. Robinson is there, headed away by Holmes. And now it's 2 against 2. If Steve Williams can keep the tempo of this run up, Shannon and Hibbert are streaming up alongside him. They're appealing for offside, but it's Hibbert. And a great palm away by Mosley. Well, that was a super breakaway by Southampton, and so nearly caught Brighton on the hop. A lovely run by Stevie Williams, really stretching them. And Hibbert measuring the shot. It was palmed away by Mosley. Good stuff as this half draws to a close. Crowd really enjoying their afternoon in the sun. Holmes with the in-swinging corner. And again, Mosley, did he get his fingers to it? Well, it's gone for a corner again on this side, so it's the 5th Southampton corner of the afternoon. And Mosley rubbing his hands on the grass to get a better grip this time. This time it's Baker, right-footed, hanging high. Mosley doing well to gather that cleanly in the face of the challenge from Dave Watson. A little bit of hesitancy in the Brighton defence, and Ryan putting it back to Mosley. Robinson and Nicol in something of a tangle on that far side. Robinson in the end sandwiched between Nicol and Golak, claiming his shirt was pulled, as you can see. Still looking at the collar. But he seems to be fairly happy about it all. Smile on his face. Well, this must be probably one of the last chances Brighton will have to pull this game back within reach. It's Williams with the free kick. Good firm header back from Dave Watson. The referee seeing a little push, so it's going to be a free kick. Williams. My word, he really caught that on the volley, did Stevie Williams, and he's so full of confidence this afternoon. You can hear what the crowd thought of that. That really was a scorching volley. And if that had gone in, that really would have been one of the goals of the season. Steve Williams, 1 goal already after 4 minutes of the half, and look at this, a chance again to see it. Williams coming in, whack, catches it on the volley, and just past that post. And there we go, the half-time whistle from the referee, Alex Hamill. And Southampton go into a good round of applause from another packed house here at the Dell. I think good value for the 2-0 lead they have at half-time. Southampton's opening goal coming from Steve Williams after just 4 moments. He's come close to making it 2 just a few moments ago, and Southampton's second goal scored by Graham Baker on 24. But without doubt, Southampton good value then for that half-time scoreline here at the Dell. Southampton 2, Brighton 0. So it's Brighton to get us underway in the second half in this South Coast derby game at the Dell. And reminder, Southampton leading by 2-0. First goal from Stevie Williams and the second goal from Graham Baker on 24 minutes. I wonder if Alan Mullery has had some harsh words to say to his side at half-time. I guess he might have done. Oh my goodness, that's the most spectacular own goal, if it is. The ball was knocked in by Nick Holmes, and Boyle was there with Stevens, and Stevens headed it back. And Brighton were claiming it didn't cross the line. Here's a chance to see it again. You can see what's happened here. It's pulled back, I think, for the infringement by Boyer on Stevens. It looks as if it crossed the line. But when all's said and done, play had already been called to a halt. Well, that was nearly the most sensational start to a half we've ever had. Brighton coming away in the shape of Gordon Smith again. Cale finding Williams, who's got plenty of room on this side, only Nicol close to him. Ward, here's a chance for Smith, and that's a great goal. Good goal by Gordon Smith has put Brighton back in the game. Well, that just shows you can't afford to give this big man any room at all. Gordon Smith's 4th goal of the season coming up here. You can see the ball played in, and Smith with so much time picks his spot and drills it past Wells to make it 2-1. So Brighton really back in the match now, and suddenly those fans are way to my left behind Peter Wells in the Southampton goal. The Brighton supporters who've made the journey, they've found a bit of new heart, and Southampton have really got to open the gap up again if they want to feel safe. Shannon policed all the way by John Gregory, and the referee on the spot to give a free kick to Southampton. As you can see, John Gregory doesn't agree. Brighton got a 2-man wall here. Now it's just 1 man. In fact, they've broken. And it's Stevie Williams over the ball. Southampton looking for this 3rd goal. Watson! Oh, what a good start by Mosley. Well, that was a great header from Dave Watson, and it looked certain to find its way into the net, but Mosley did well to smother it. Knocked back there by Nick Holmes, but that really was a great effort at the other end just a moment ago. Here comes the header from Watson, and Mosley doing well to get to his left, just putting it round the post. And I think those pundits who thought that Southampton would be struggling to get back to form after the shambles at Watford on Tuesday, well, they've been well and truly confounded with a good, solid, workmanlike performance. Shannon's cross, nodded away by Williams. Chris Nicol, a rare sight this. Oh! My goodness, the big man really made his presence felt there. That would have been a cracking goal if it had gone in. He loved every second of that, did Chris Nicol. He would so dearly have loved to get on the score sheet. He's already scored in the league this season at Sunderland, but he nearly burst through and made it 3. Again, you can see here, he comes into the area using all his weight, and he really whacks that left foot just over the top past Mosley. Golak into injury time in this match now, and seemingly both points destined for Southampton. Golak's got a chance to increase the lead here. Oh, yes! Well, just as I was saying, Southampton were about to get both points. They put it beyond the reach of Brighton now. A decisive 3rd goal coming from Ivan Golak. That's his 1st goal of the season. Cutting inside the challenge there, hitting it left foot straight past Mosley. 3-1. Referee is about to blow, and there goes the whistle. Referee Alex Hamill brings this exciting local derby to an end. Southampton worthy winners by 3-1, and the crowd here really have had Excellent entertainment. And the 3 goals for Southampton coming from Steve Williams, Graham Baker and Ivan Golak. Just in the last minutes, the reply for Brighton coming from Gordon Smith. And both sides going off to a well-deserved round of applause. There's the man who didn't actually get on the score sheet, Trevor Hebbert, but he had a great game for Southampton, covering just about every blade of grass on the pitch. And Laurie McMenemy knows now without doubt that his side are back to winning ways in the Football League, and that's what counts. The final score here at the Dell, Southampton 3, Brighton 1.
Well, a victory that keeps Southampton well in touch at the top, and a victory I'm sure that must have come as a relief to the Southampton manager Laurie McMenemy after that disaster at Watford, and indeed for the Southampton players too.
Well, no, not really. I don't worry about me players. We live together all year round. I worry about other people actually putting pressure on from outside. But I can understand it. I mean, I can understand you going on about it because it was an abnormal type of result at any level. But when you're at the top of the first division, you're not expected to let 7 in. And I can understand all that. But as I said to the lads today, if we get a win today, we're still top of the first division. And the more results we get under the belt from now on, the more that'll be forgotten, that result. It'll never ever be erased because it's a scar. But certainly it didn't affect our league position, and there's a lot of other clubs who would wish they were in our league position at the moment.
Final word, Laurie, on the 2 injuries, the absentees today, Kevin Keegan, of course, and Charlie George. What's the news on them?
Well, they weren't 100% fit, and we look each day to see how they get on. I mean, Charlie's got all week till the next game. Kevin's got England. He's going to report with England on Sunday, and he won't play unless he's 100%. But you know, I'm looking to next Saturday personally, and that extra, without a midweek game, it gives us a bit more chance to get the injured fit.
Just before we move on, what about that amazing own goal that was disallowed? I can't recall that happening before, but why was it disallowed? Maybe we get a clue here. As Nick Holmes crosses this ball in here, as you can see, Phil Boyer's going for it, and it appears to hit Gary Stevens on the head and go into the net, although Graham Mosley made a tremendous effort to keep it out. I think we get the clue when we see now, just watch Mike Shannon coming towards the referee. If you can lip read, we do a crafty bit of that. What's that for? He says, handball, says the referee. Well, that was his verdict at any rate. And you can see the positioning of the referee there. Did Boyer handle the ball there? Did it hit Stevens on the head? The referee felt clearly that it was handball by Phil Boyer. One absentee, I gather, from Southampton today, in fact, was Kevin Keegan. He's got that hamstring injury that Laurie was talking about. I'm told it makes Kevin extremely doubtful now for that World Cup game against Norway at Wembley on Wednesday. And elsewhere, with that game in mind, Mick Mills didn't play for Ipswich today, but I gather he has a better chance of being fit for it. And Brian Robson is another doubt. He had a recurrence of an ankle injury playing for West Bromwich Albion today. And Graham Souness of Liverpool is definitely out of the game for Scotland. He injured his back today and pulled out of Scotland's World Cup game in Sweden on Wednesday. Now the national news, Jim Rosenthal.
And our news dominated tonight by trouble on the terraces. A riot at Oldham halting the game with Sheffield Wednesday for an incredible 30 minutes. It all started when the Wednesday striker Terry Curran was sent off, this following a skirmish with Oldham's Simon Stainrod. Wednesday fans spilled onto the pitch, and really these dramatic Sunday Mirror pictures tell the whole story. Police and fans clashed. Then a hail of metal and concrete ripped from the terraces sent players running for cover and caused injuries to police and fans alike. The Wednesday manager Jack Charlton walked out onto the pitch in an attempt to quell the trouble, but he was himself pelted with missiles and walked off in tears. When the game finally restarted, Wednesday were beaten 2-0. There were several people injured and many arrests. Tonight, Charlton told us it was the worst moment he'd ever known on a football pitch. He says he's not an emotional man. He just started to cry because the game's gone absolutely crazy. And the Wednesday chairman, Bert McGee, said he was appalled by the behaviour of the club's fans. What happened was indefensible. Well, trouble of a different kind for the Leeds United manager Jimmy Adamson. He faces the sack after today's 3-0 defeat at Stoke. The Leeds board will meet tomorrow with chairman Manny Cousins saying a decision has to be taken. And that decision expected to mean the end for Adamson. It'll be made public on Monday.
All right, our second match tonight takes us to White Hart Lane for Spurs against Manchester United, and it was a match that attracted a 41,000 crowd.
Well, at a time when there's been a downturn in football crowds, what about this? It's what's called a bumper crowd for the visit of Manchester United to Tottenham. Although Tottenham have done enough this season themselves to warrant this support, their team has lost only one of its opening 6 games. That was at Arsenal last Saturday, and is now unchanged. It's the one that beat Orient in the League Cup in midweek. And while the fans here have quickly taken to the striking ability of Steve Archibald and Garth Crooks, they must be a little perplexed still about the goalkeeping position here. Now we have Barry Daines in goal, a good, sound servant for the club over several years now. Keeps the place he won against Orient. But already this season, Mark Kendall's had a run in goal, and Milja Alexic is getting back to full fitness, and he's in the reserves today. Fitness, in fact, has been a bit of a problem for Manchester United this season. Now without Ray Wilkins, Gordon McQueen, Joe Jordan, Ashley Grimes and Kevin Moran all injured, and a record that shows 3 defeats in their first 6 games. But we are still a very sound team, says manager Dave Sexton, and still plenty of familiar names there, except for the substitute Mike Duxbury. Here he is. Mike is a 20-year-old midfielder, and he's been captain of the Manchester United reserve team for 3 years, since he was at the tender age of 70. The referee today is Tony Glasson of Salisbury in Wiltshire. So it's Spurs who get us away in white shirts and black shorts, attacking the goal to our left. Manchester United in their customary red. Spurs with a good record here already. 4 games they've played at home. In the League and League Cup, they've won 3 of them and drawn 1, yet to be beaten. Manchester United's problem really is very much in the scoring of goals. Only 1 goal in their last 5 games. That for United is an incredibly poor record. And now they've got to do a bit of defending as Ardiles takes it up. But big Nikola Jovanovic, the Yugoslav, gives the ball away. Ardiles coming in there, Bailey out to retrieve it. Holding off Thomas, Gordon Smith, Crooks. And Alberston getting it away, not very far. Archibald brought down, free kick, a foul by Sammy McElroy, just took his heels. And, looks as though he jarred his knee as he fell. So Tottenham's free kick. Velia's in there, Laces come up on this side, the tall 6'3" defender. And it'll be Hoddle, I imagine, who will float. The free kick in there, the little chip coming in there, and Buchan really at full stretch to put that behind for the corner. So full again with this corner. You can see Lacey, number 5, right in there again. Hit lower this time. Ooh, and Crooks trying a volley on the turn. This really would have been so spectacular had it come off. A lower angle this time from Hoddle's corner, as you can see there. And Crooks on the volley, always getting it on the up. Ardiles for Houghton. Crooks brought down by Buchan, free kick. Side, Lacey has crept up, he hopes, unnoticed. And it's going to be Hoddle, having made a signal. And indeed for Gordon Smith to come in there, and a good header by him, and it almost fell for Crooks. Well, they worked a very good free kick there, Tottenham. And now Manchester United trying to play the offside, and Yorith trying to counter it with a run on his own, but in the end played back by Alberston. Spurs substitute Peter Taylor on the left there, and second from the right, the Spurs manager Keith Birkinshaw. Brooks. Crowd enjoyed that. Found Velia. Oh, that just reached Hoddle. The crowd enjoyed that as well. Back with Velia again. Buchan there with him. Hoddle again supporting. Little left foot cross coming in there, and Ardiles might get a second go. Bailey, though. Oh, at the third attempt, Bailey tried to get it. The whistle in the end had gone, and Manchester United were reprieved. Agonising that must have been for Gary Bailey, because when the cross came in there from Hoddle, and Ardiles was onto it there, Bailey couldn't hold it. I thought Ardiles might get it back here. Bailey couldn't hold it again, but there was an infringement already as that ball was crossed in. Perryman in quickly. Greenoff was dallying there, and Perryman certainly wasn't going to let him get away with that. But it's with Ardiles again. He's having quite a game. Trying to get past Jovanovic. The little back heel this time for Ricky Villa. And suddenly Villa's through. And not the power of shot that was required from that sort of angle to worry Gary Bailey. And a lovely bit of skill by the two players from Argentina. Ardiles here at first, the back heel for Villa, and suddenly he made things happen for himself with that really aggressive piece of running into the box, but the shot really wasn't quite good enough. Jovanovic. Ritchie. Buchan, Livingston, Archibald and Crooks trying to force their way through, and they might even do it, as Archibald now finds Ardiles again, and straight into the arms of Gary Bailey, but a lovely, fluid and really quick run there by Argentina's Osvaldo Ardiles. Ritchie. Played in now for Koppel, and for Ritchie again, but cut out by Houghton, and a chance for Villa to take it up again for Tottenham. Manchester United still without a direct shot on goal, and 25 minutes gone. Ardiles. Oh. Well, a good try that with the left foot by Osvaldo Ardiles. Again attacking that United defence. Almost a lazy looking left foot shot over the top. Koppel. This will come for Villa. And now for Crooks. Supported behind by Ardiles. And now along the flanks there by Osvaldo Ardiles. Taking it to the byline, he tried to pull that back for Archibald. It'll come instead for Crooks. United a little slow to come out to that one. Hoddle playing it in first time, and Yorath was right in there. Well, United were surprisingly slow to react to that one, and at the whistle, the flag has stepped down, and in the end, a tremendous tussle, and they haven't got it away yet because here's Hoddle. The chip comes in again towards Archibald, and now for Villa. Oh, so much of that was United's own making right at the start. When they were looking around for offside, and it wasn't given, and the ball came out to the edge of the box, and they still didn't react to it. Well, they must have thought there was an offside there, but even now, when the ball comes out, just look at the amount of time that Hoddle has here now to cross this one in. Bailey can't get to it, and in the end, Villa hammers it over. Ardiles. And United take it away, but the whistle already had gone. The foul by Koppel on Ardiles, a free kick for Tottenham. Playing a lot of football, Tottenham, up until they get to the Manchester United penalty area. Here's Hoddle. It's a decent cross coming in, but Macari's there, and it might come for Villa. Trying to hit it on the turn, knocked away by Macari again. Archibald right in there. Hoddle now getting possession with a good shot, and causing Bailey to go down. I remember after the Brighton game that the Spurs manager Keith Birkinshaw was saying we're playing a lot of football, but we're not making the opposing goalkeeper work hard enough. Hoddle certainly did there with a good ground shot. Ball is played to him here. A cracking left foot shot, and Bailey down well. As the half-time whistle goes, the first half really that's been dominated by Tottenham in terms of the football they've played and the attacking they've done, so much so that when you think of Barry Daines, in the first 45 minutes he's not had a direct or serious shot to save from Manchester United. That's how much Spurs have been on top, but for all that they haven't a goal to show for it. Tottenham Hotspur 0, Manchester United 0. So Manchester United get us away at the start of the second half. Good record here against Tottenham in point of fact. Spurs have won only one of the last 6 matches here in the league against Manchester United. I must say United looks some way from keeping that going at the moment. Without a real serious shot on goal in the first half, and if Spurs could just sharpen up their scoring rate, well, it could be a good second half for them. Some good running by Ardiles, maybe occasionally holding on to it a little too long, but here's Crooks holding on to it long enough to cause a certain amount of panic in that Manchester United defence, but then they cover up so well. It's Perryman. Yorath. Now Hoddle. Ardiles. Crooks played on nicely there by Crooks for Ardiles, and flicked in nicely for Archibald. A shot there, and bumping off Bailey's chest. But a really lovely move there. Ardiles again at the centre of it, releasing it exactly the right time there for Archibald. The ball just bouncing off Bailey's chest, but there was never a problem after that. Buchan. Jovanovic. Oh, cut out there by Villa, and Jovanovic may have played him into trouble now as Crooks takes it up with Villa outside him. The delay was too long, the shot wasn't effective enough, and a chance that suddenly came their way when Jovanovic lost the ball in the centre circle. As Crooks feeds Villa, and United just look how they're getting men back. Archibald just beaten to it, but here's Ardiles with a shot just wide. Really pounced on that from the midfield, did Ardiles. And the ball was always curling that little bit away from that post. And now a break for United with Jimmy Greenoff. Macari in a bit of space. A good shot on the turn and just over the top. The nearest United have been all afternoon. And two of the old stagers, really, Jimmy Greenoff and Lou Macari, who almost fashioned something there for them. Greenoff playing it in there, Macari catching it on the volley on the turn, just over the top. And Ardiles is going off. Came off in the League Cup tie against Orient, but he certainly looked to be playing well here and didn't appear to be troubled by any sort of injury. But certainly the arrival of Peter Taylor will give Spurs a good deal more width. McElroy. Koppel with the cross coming in towards Jimmy Greenoff. He very nearly got in there, and I must say that was a good piece of defence by Gordon Smith. But here's Ulverston playing it in again. Houghton on the far side. United suddenly have got a lot of people forward. McElroy with a shot, pushed away there by Barry Daines. And now Spurs maybe with a chance to get it away as Crooks takes it up. The first save that Daines has really had to make in the game comes in the last seconds. And here's Peter Taylor. Trying to get a 1-2 going there, but I think Ulverston will get to this one. But it's a corner for Tottenham with just seconds remaining now. In fact, we're in time, added on for stoppages, and it's Hoddle now. With the cross coming in, Lacey with the shot, straight into the arms of Bailey. Well, certainly a bright and breezy last minute of the game. Daines saving from McElroy, then Lacey having a pop at goal at the other end. Referee looking at his watch, and United's a second away from a point they've really had to battle for. A great defensive battle by them, and Spurs in the end just couldn't find a way through in spite of all their territorial advantage. And so the final score then here at White Hart Lane. It's Tottenham Hotspur 0, Manchester United 0.
Well, no goals, it's true, but it was an entertaining game, with United clearly holding the fort, as it were, until they get some of their top players fit again. And Spurs, I thought, playing so much good stuff up to the box, but today it seems that Crooks and Archibald just failed to find their finishing touch. Strange to see Osvaldo Ardiles substituted again, and afterwards he gave me the reason for it and also spoke about his future at Tottenham.
I think we, from the very beginning of the season, we have a lot of games very difficult, and playing twice a week. I think for my body, I have I feel more tired than the rest of the players. And but I was talking, for example, with Glenn and Gal Crook and Ricky Bill, and they feel very tired. They feel like it is the end of the season. Anyway, we have now 1 week to rest, and I think we will come in with a lot of potential of our team.
But now tell me about Argentina, because I think a lot of people are not aware of the fact that you're going back to Argentina in December. Can you tell me about that?
Well, yes, there are a mini World Cup in Uruguay at the end of December and the beginning of January. And Menotti, Argentina play, of course, and Menotti asked some players that are playing abroad, like Kempes, Bertoni, and myself, to go and play for Argentina. They asked Tottenham if I can go, and the club said yes.
Yes, but that means you'll miss how many games if you go all the way to the finals of the Mini World Cup?
I will miss at least 3 games. And if we are in the final in Uruguay, I miss one more. So 4 games.
And what is the contract situation with Tottenham right now?
Well, we are talking at the moment. Tottenham offered me a contract for 3 years more, including this year. And we are always talking. I am very optimistic that at last we will agree a contract.
You think you might be here then for 2 more seasons after this one?
Yes, yes.
And that's good news for you?
Oh yes, it's very good for. Well, it's I didn't sign yet, but I think I will do it in the future. It's a good news for me, yes.
So Osvaldo Ardiles on the point of signing for 3 more seasons at Tottenham. Welcome back. And now it's the other half of that North London-Manchester double act. We've seen Spurs and Manchester United, and now it's Manchester City against Arsenal, a game that had them out of their seats at Main Road today. Covered by Granada Television, the commentator Gerard Sinstadt, with Arsenal in the white shorts.
Talbot. Leary with Young available, and also Ricks. Stapleton back to him. Collins prepared to make a run through the middle. This is Devine. Hollins again on a run through the middle, and the pass was looking for him, but cut out well by Mackenzie, but then given away again. Ricks, Stapleton, Hollins. And Hollins tries the shot, and it extended McRae. It was 30 yards out. And I think that Manchester City may have been expecting a pass from Hollins. Stapleton plays it, and Hollins really always looked as though he was seeking the opening there, and the ball was swinging. Henry, nobody ahead of him down that far touchline. Reed, it's come to Bennett, chance to attack Devine, and he's lost him. Cut back wasn't quite crisp enough, but the way Bennett made space for himself there was very reminiscent of the way he set up the first goal against Stoke on Wednesday night. Free kick is given, and Caton or Daly will take it. Daly for Mackenzie, and that was a touch over from Jennings that was really needed. It was a beautiful shot from Steve Mackenzie. Very simple free kick, and Mackenzie's shot really made the most of it. It was kept down exceptionally well, and it asked all the skill of Pat Jennings. Sunderland beating Booth, the ball with Parr. Daly. Bennett. And Henry turning it across for Reeves. How many times do we see Pat Jennings snatch those out of the air that are apparently headed straight at him? But you have to give him credit for getting the angles right. Maybe Reeves should have got over it more. Ball reaching Henry here on the far side, and he turned it first time very well. Free header for Reeves. There was Jennings. Mackenzie. Hollins, and that's a good ball for Sunderland. And Sunderland again and again by McRae. Still Sunderland. Booth is there now. And the free kick is given to Manchester City, and that is a let-off. Sunderland was put through there with a fine ball and should have made more of it, but credit to McRae for some good last-ditch goalkeeping. Lovely ball through, Sunderland onside. McRae comes, gets an elbow to the first one and fingertips to the second, and after that the fire brigade arrived. Mackenzie. Not easy to shake off the ball, Mackenzie. Then Henry plays it in. This is Hollins for Arsenal. It's a good ball again from Hollins, chased by Sunderland. He's got goal side of Reed, and round, and then he's made a mess of it. Second time that Sunderland has been in the clear and failed to score. But Stapleton now trying to set one up. There was a deflection, it hit the bar, and McRae breathes again. Well, Manchester City were in all kinds of problems there. Another magnificent long ball driven through by Johnny Hollins that created the pressure in the first place. There it goes. Sunderland away after it. Gets the wrong side of Reed. Reed tries, I think, to pull him down. He beats McRae, and then suddenly the ball ran off his left foot, and it was all over then. Stapleton takes it up. Deflected cross. I think that hits the face of the bar. Daly forward, header by Young. Ricks. Sansom. Hollins. Oh, the ball almost given there to Bennett. Jennings just got there. Tuart, and Jennings makes the most astonishing save, all of 20 yards from goal. Series of mix-ups. Bennett gets there, half stopped by Jennings, and then Tuart plays the cross. Somehow Jennings is able to react. watching from the stands, two very famous goalkeepers and two of the most popular goalkeepers ever at Main Road. On the left there, Bert Troutman, and on his right, the injured Joe Corrigan. Talbot. Parr. And can anyone get there? Reeves, and what another miraculous save by Jennings. Just maybe 3-4 yards away, stays upright. Ball played in here, and there are three City players who might get it, and it runs for Reeves, and that right foot, Jennings braced, two arms up to catch. Stapleton tried twice, succeeded the second time, and then Ricks tripped by Stewart. Caught me there, handshake, no ill feelings, and a game which has had its share of collisions and a few fairly hard knocks, but no sign of malice or ill will. Sunderland, good cut back. Willie Young, 1-0 to Arsenal. They just didn't see him coming. The big man arriving, so often a danger in the air at set pieces. That time turned up most unexpectedly to get a very good goal. Sunderland, very nice cut back along the ground, and Young there, knocking it in at the far post. Stapleton losing out to Booth, Bennett. Daly, that was a poor one. Gets another chance, and that's better. Stewart. A lot of men forward now for City. Mackenzie who can shoot, and Jennings who can save. Mackenzie, there's been nothing wrong with his shooting, but there's been nothing wrong with this man's goalkeeping either. Stewart sets it up, Mackenzie lets rip, and Jennings plunges. Reeves to Reed. Who likes to run with the ball, playing it for Bennett. It's a bit hard for Parr, but he'll catch it and pulls it back nicely, and it's come to Stewart, and Jennings again to the rescue, this time with his powerful right foot. Congratulations from Stewart. Bennett for Parr, who has to sprint, crosses well, and Willie Young's head sets it up for Stewart. Jennings moves quickly and again averts trouble. Those front players taking the touchlines, so it tends to funnel into the middle all the time from City. Daly, Stewart, Bennett. Can he get a shot in? There's a deflection over the top from Hollins, with Jennings completely committed the other way. Jennings has had so much covered, but he wouldn't have had a hope with that one. Bennett takes his time, picks his spot, and that could so easily have been an own goal. Cross into Bennett. Feel for handball, and it is given. John Hollins stuck out an involuntary arm, and a chance for Manchester City from the penalty spot. One they had in the last minute on Wednesday night, put over the top by Booth, but Dennis Stewart was not playing then, and now he steps up to take this one, having already scored once from the spot this season against Aston Villa. Can Jennings now produce something even more astonishing than the saves he's shown us so far? Ball not exactly on the spot. Chance for Dennis Stewart to level the scores 18 minutes from time. And he does so. Nothing that Jennings could do about that. Nothing subtle, but no chance for the goalkeeper.
Wonderful stuff. 1-1 it finished. The result that lifts the pressure off Malcolm Anderson a little and keeps Arsenal humming along quite nicely. But what about that Manchester City penalty? Well, it seems it was handball by John Hollins, but whether it was the ball that struck him or his hand that struck the ball, I don't know. I think there was a deflection there off Bennett, and John might well claim that that was accidental, the ball striking him, and that there was nothing he could do about it. At any rate, it was a penalty. Dennis Stewart scored it, and it made it 1-1. Well, sadly, it's been another day when football, to some extent, has been dragged through the mud again. A riot at Oldham, 5 sendings off. But I think we've had some great action for you tonight. And also, of course, news that Oswald Oil Dealers is poised to sign for another 3 years at Tottenham, which means more of his skills for us all to enjoy, as we did today against Manchester United. Just a pity for the Spurs fans that he couldn't round it off with a goal, as he has before against United.
Do it. As Archibald now finds Martinez again. And straight into the arms of Gary Bailey, but a lovely, fluid and really quick run there by Argentina's Osvaldo Ardiles. Oh! Archibald just beaten to it, but here's Ardiles with a shot just wide. Hit towards Villa. Now towards Gibson, who popped up there with a header. Chris Jones there. Gibson trying to get in once more. Ardiles with a chance!